Hey everyone, it's Elizabeth here. So thank you for taking the time to watch my video. Today I just want to talk about the power of one from a light and a dark perspective. I don't think a lot of people realize on a very conscious level how powerful the power of one is. It takes that one act of kindness to completely change your life, or it takes that one a-hole to kind of completely wreck your days. So the reality is the power of one can be fueled in either a light or a dark way, and it depends on, obviously where you're at in your life or how you let certain things affect you. I do have a very spiritual lens on life, and I think that the power of one can be there to help you, to lead you on a better path in your life, or it can lead you to a path of destruction. And I think the power of one, we really need to use this from a perspective of consequences. And what I mean by that is it only takes one time to have unprotected sex with somebody to get pregnant or to contract an STD from them, especially if you're not married. You don't know the person, especially if it's a newer relationship. It just takes that one time to completely wreck and change your life path, all for the sake of having pleasure without protection. So that's an example. I think an example of what's going on today when we're looking at the drug and the opioid use, specifically in America, it takes the power of one time to get hooked on something. Now, I'm going to share this example. My uncle committed suicide in June of 2012, and he had problems with addictions. More so, I think, with the prescription-based drugs. And I don't remember a lot of the stories, but the one story I do remember him telling me was that he said that he got a shot of Demerol for some reason. I don't remember for what it was. I think it was obviously in the hospital. And he said that one shot of Demerol hooked him. Like, he did a lot of drugs through his life, and that one thing really, really got him hooked to want to have more. And so it's just really interesting when you're taking that power of one perspective. If you have an addictive personality and you have curiosities to want to try something out, whether it's drugs or maybe you want to, go into voyeurism or hedonism, it takes that one time to hook you. And if you have that addictive personality, you're going to be able to, link on to that hook and eat that bait more easily than somebody who doesn't have addiction problems. I think in this world that we live in, a lot of fables, myths, and stories are rooted to the power of one. And I really do believe God chooses the common man or the common folk to create awesome, amazing change within a community or the world or within a country or a culture. And the one example that I'll share is with my ex-husband. I used to tell him all the time that God chose him to work with homelessness and social housing for a reason. He was homeless once at the age of 17, and that life experience, I think, led him on this path to studying. Instead of becoming a lawyer, he studied urban planning. And with, the market crash in 2008, that kind of channeled him to work into public housing just because all the urban planners were getting laid off of work back in 08 and 09. And he was a very logical man who, he believed in something higher than him, but he never quite identified with it because of his bad experiences as a kid, as a Jehovah, which I'm not going to talk about that. But I think a lot of people have very poor life experiences with hardcore brands in religion, like certain things like baptism and Jehovah Witness. It can be a little bit more extreme than other brands within the Christian community, or what you see today in Europe with, radicalized Islam. That whole religion itself has a lot of growth to do. So anyways, what I'm trying to get at is, if anybody listening to this video knows my ex, he's been like a pioneer and a great life. He's done a lot of life changes in terms of the social housing industry. He's very educated and a very intelligent human being. And I remember back in August of 2017, kind of like on the downward slope of our relationship prior to the breakup in October, he was starting to get pulled into doing some consulting within the social housing industry. And it took the power of one, his wife, me, at the time to encourage him to do it. The thing is, after he and I lived in Germany, we both adopted such work-life balance qualities in our life that he started getting nervous. He's like, I need to keep my day job working for the government. You know, that's 40 hours a week. And he was like, if I'm going to start traveling and doing this stuff on the weekends, it's going to start consuming my life. And I said, hey, I go, why don't you take 1 year, see where you're at are in a year, and then make a decision on to continue or to terminate the consulting industry. I said, hey, you know, we were both planning on moving to France this year in 2018. Obviously, that didn't happen because I'm sitting here divorced. But my point was, I was like, hey, you know, maybe this money will just fund our dream of moving to France for 3 months to learn French, to take a break from the crummy work life in America. Or maybe it'll fuel you to opening a business to where it's like you can leave the actual government job. So, you know, what I'm saying, it's just like it took that one positive voice to change somebody, to push them to do something bigger and better than themselves in their life. And that's the same work that I do every day, working with personal training clients and teaching yoga classes. Sometimes it takes just that one class to really change somebody's workday. I work at a lot of corporate sites, and I've had a lot of yoga students, more so women than men, that say this is the best hour of my day or the best hour of my week. Not only does that fulfill me, but it really enhances and shows that some of the work that you do in this lifetime really drastically affects people and their lives, and has in a very positive way. So those are just some examples that I wanted to share, not only in my life in terms of like ways the power of one can help you in a negative and a positive way, but I want to talk a little bit about from a spiritual perspective. Through my yoga training and my dabbling in Buddhism when I was in my early 20s, a lot of those two philosophies and, you know, the Hindu religion, a lot of it talks about the power of the mind and the power of your actions, thoughts, and behaviors. And so that really is an interesting thought when you're applying the power of one to your mind, because you can fuel the wolf of the light in your brain, or you can go down the rabbit hole and fuel the wolf of the dark. And the wolf of the dark tends to lead people down a lot of path of destruction or down paths of depression. Just because you're getting stuck in the rabbit hole or this vicious negative cycle that is rooted here. And so one quote from Shanti Deva, I don't really know who that is, so my apologies, but I thought this was an interesting quote, was, the mind is the seed of the world's joy and the remedy for its suffering. So the power of one is within you. It's your spirit. You have the ability to work on yourself, to make yourself suffer less in your mind, or you can continue to fuel that negativity that is within you to lead you down some path of destruction, even maybe towards suicide. Think about the power of one in suicide. It takes one person to really pull somebody out of suicide. It takes that one voice on the other side of a life support lifeline to get somebody to step out from maybe jumping from the bridge or pulling the trigger or kicking that chair from underneath them. And that could definitely be from a friend and a loved one to pull them out of that spiral in their head as well. But man, it's like sometimes this world we live in, because we've opened a can of worms online, and somebody could be suicidal and get really put down online, and that could definitely trigger that person to just kick the bucket. I can laugh about this, but like I posted a video about divorce sometime last week on Google Plus, and some guy said, "Oh yeah, there's Crazy Eyes sitting there with her cat, like no wonder why she's divorced." And like at first I was a little pissed by it, and then I just started laughing because I was like, God, the internet is so gross. Like these people have nothing to do have nothing better to do with their day than to put someone's physicality down. And then I'm like, well, this is why a lot of women are becoming hardcore feminists, because their body image is completely shitted on all the time. It's like, I got made fun of as a kid a lot with my big eyes, that my eyes were the size of my face basically, and then I had like Coke glasses or glasses that looked like Coke bottles that made everything even bigger. So it's like I got made fun of a lot as a kid. And if that guy said that to me 10 years ago when I was way more sensitive than I am now, or at least not having enough grit within me to handle negative things in life, I probably would have shut down this YouTube channel. But now it's like I'm at a point in my life where I can, block the negative stuff out and just power on through past the barriers. I just kind of laugh about it because I'm like, the internet's so weird. But the power of one has a really big effect. And I think Christianity and the Bible talks a lot about the power of one. Something as simple as and small as the mustard seed can grow into the biggest tree in the garden of life. And so if you think about how small something like the mustard seed is, that's a really powerful effect. Everything in life has a powerful effect to bring us joy or to bring us grief and sadness. So it depends on the lens and of our perspectives in life, but it also depends on how we're doing things. Like if we're having a crummy day and we take it out on another person, that ripple effect is going to go through. That person's going to get upset and take it out on someone else and so forth, or bring that negativity home with them. So if we could be more aware of our awareness and our actions, that power of one can be very interesting when we can start to channel a lot of our problems into a more positive way. So here's something: when you think of salt, if you cook, you know that salt enhances things, but it can also, too much salt can actually ruin your meal. So this is a biblical verse. It's Matthew 5:13, and it says, "You are the salt of the earth, but what good is salt if it has lost its flavor? Can you make it useful again? You are the light of the world, like a city on a mountain, glowing in the night for all to see. Don't hide your light under a basket. Instead, put it on a stand and let it shine for all. In the same way, let your good deeds shine out for all to see, so that everyone will praise your heavenly Father." So I'm not saying like just because you give a homeless guy some cookies, you should film that and spread it all over the internet. The point of this is we all have the light within us. And if we can start to affect people in a very positive way, or just through simple acts of kindness and helpfulness, that's definitely going to spread more light throughout the world. One other quote that I wanted to end with, just so you to think about the power of one within your life, not only within your certain life situations, but maybe with how you affect other people in a good or a bad way. This quote I found online, it says, "So, keep on running. Even though you're just one, don't throw in the towel. For the race is not done. You will never know until the harvest is in how many souls you've been able to win. Despise the day of things that are small. Take courage, dear child, and give it your all." So, if you're on some form of path of change, just know that things are going to keep changing for you. For example, me doing this YouTube video, I make no money from it. I'm doing it for free, and I have 38 subscribers at the time of doing this video. And I hope to one day be able to fuel this, to share my wisdom and my knowledge, my life experience, my education, blah, 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 all of that on here to help you people continue to change and to gear you on the life path. Even if this is just some sort of an ego boost for you to hear this, to get fueled for 15 minutes out of your day, that's part of my life mission. I'm here to help change the common folk. I'm not here to try to revolutionize the world or anything. I mean, that would be cool, but the reality is I'm keeping my my goals, small. So my point is, it's like I can just sit here and moan and drone and be like, I only have 38 subscribers, I'm making no money, blah, blah, blah. And I could just throw in the towel, but I'm not going to do it, because you know what? Perseverance wins. Perseverance wins every single time. I used to tell that shit to my ex-husband all the time. Those who don't stop will win. And the reason why my ex-husband and I got to live in Germany was not only was it his dream, but it was also his perseverance coupled with my support. I continuously funneled and supported that dream for 3 years. He applied for fellowships at the age of 31 and 32. It didn't work for him. He found a new fellowship at the age of 33, the Alexander von Humboldt Fellowship, and applied for that. And you know what? It worked out the third time's the charm, at the age of 33. Isn't that amazing? I'm in my Jesus year right now. I'm at the age of 33. So him getting that trip at Germany through his Jesus year was like one of the most revolutionary years of his life, but also my life. And my life at the age of 33 has been a hell of a lot of ups and downs. So my Jesus year has been interesting, but it's also been a rebirth, especially now that I'm like this Christian mystic, which still confuses a lot of people. But my point is that perseverance wins. Perseverance always wins. If you never give up and keep trying, you're going to fail. Just because you failed here, it doesn't mean that the door is completely shut. You just might have to re-strategize certain things in your life. And that's where I'm going with this YouTube channel. Maybe I need to actually put some strategy to this instead of just throwing videos out there and hoping people catch on. So, that's what I'm trying to say. The power of one is very interesting. So I just wanted to give you some thoughts from this perspective of the light, but also the dark. Light and dark, there's a battle out there every single day that's happening in the sky, in the unforeseen world that we can't see. And it's important for us to be fueled more by the light than the dark. So thank you for listening. And one other final thought about the power of one, after going through a couple of those verses, Jesus was a great example of the power of one. Here's this like pure man who is spreading the word of love and faith at a time when darkness was starting to rule through the Roman Empire. His whole story itself is about the power of one. Look at how one man changed an entire community of people, and then that word and that message spread around, and then obviously it changed the next 2,000 years for good and bad. That is a whole separate topic on itself, which maybe I will do. But the power of one is really rooted a lot to our Western Christian civilization, more than people think about. It took one man, Steve Jobs, to completely revolutionize technology, and it took one program, this YouTube channel, or not my channel, but the YouTube, website in general, to change how we receive and give information. So those are just some thoughts that I have. If you have any questions or comments, please write below. If you can, please subscribe to this channel. Please help me build it. And also, I'm now on Patreon, so if you believe in me and my message, you're more than welcome to provide me patronage for the work that I do, to help me be able to do this more frequently. And hopefully I could do this more on a part-time, full-time basis rather than just whenever I have free time and time off from work. All right, thank you guys. Please subscribe below. Have a great day. Speak soon. Bye.